Hey folks, we're here today talking with Eddie Keys. He's the new Lady Tiger basketball coach at Fayetteville High School. Appreciate you talking with us today about your ladies a little bit. I know you're not new to Fayetteville High School, but you are new as far as coaching the girls program as being the head coach. Kind of giving me a little bit about your background, where you came from, your coaching experience, that type of thing.
I'm from Alabama. Grew up in a small town. Went to DAR High School. Graduated from college. Went to Alabama. Finished up about 9 years ago. I've coached in Tennessee for several years. I was at another school for 7, and I've been here. This is my second year here. I've coached a little bit of everything: football, softball, baseball along the way.
Yeah.
As far as basketball, mainly boys basketball. I was a head boys coach for 3 years. I was an assistant for 4, and then I helped Coach Murdoch last year with the boys. So it's my first year being a head coach for the varsity girls, but it's not, I'm not new to the girls basketball sport.
Okay, all right. Now, I know you've got an inexperienced team this year. But your numbers are up as far as the number of players you got. How many girls you got dressed out on the varsity level now?
We're dressing 12. We've got one that's been sick. She's been pretty sick, so she hasn't been dressing. But we're at 12 every night now.
Okay, and you've actually got enough to have a JV program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're playing a JV. We've got a true JV. We've got about 9 freshmen that are out for JV, so it's very exciting.
Well, that's good. That's good. From what I've seen of you so far, the experience has been an issue with you.
Yeah.
But you've put up 40 points in each of your first 2 games. I think 53 the other night against Coffee County. Mm-hmm. So you're scoring enough points to win a ball game. Mm-hmm. Just those. A turnover when there's a minute left and it's a 5-point game, that type of situation.
Exactly.
That, determines things, but that'll basically correct itself to some degree just from the girls getting experience and minutes on the floor.
Definitely.
How many of you got coming back that played on last year's team?
That played last year, I've got 4. 4 that saw minutes last year.
Okay.
So we had a senior come out that hadn't played. She played a few years ago, but she hadn't played. So we're having to get her back into the flow of the game. But there is a lot of inexperience and a lot of learning that we're doing right now on the fly, learning on the fly in the game.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're a member of District 9A. Let me go through and make sure I've got everybody covered here, because I like to go through what makes up a district, because TSSAA changes things from year to year, and it varies from different sports.
Yeah.
And it can kind of get confusing, but you've got, of course, Fayetteville High School, Forest, Moore County, Huntland, Eagleville, Community, and Middle Tennessee Christian.
Yes, sir.
Make up your district. Obviously, Community they're definitely not in a rebuilding mode. They pretty much just reloaded with what they had coming in from last year.
Exactly
Are
right.
they expected to be one of the strongest team probably in the district itself?
Top to bottom, it's arguably the toughest girls district in the state, single A. There are a lot of teams in our district that are serious contenders to make long runs this season. There's several teams that their coaches feel like they are state tournament worthy.
Okay.
And that's from top to bottom of our 9A district.
Okay.
Community obviously is really good. Made a long run last year, got to state tournament, lost on a buzzer beater in the state tournament, and have about everybody back. They're getting healthy, had some injuries, getting healthy. They are going to be a very tough opponent.
Okay. Strong inside game.
Very strong.
Is that what they're?
Yes, sir. Very strong. Very strong. Guard play is good too, though.
Forte is okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of weaknesses on that team.
Okay. Well, I know it's always been a tough little conference, and home court seems in a lot of the smaller schools, particularly from what I see, home court advantage. You go to Moore County, and any given night in that little gym, good things can happen and bad things can happen.
Exactly right.
You know, they really seem to support their programs. You know, I've never been over there that it wasn't basically people standing.
Exactly right. You better get there early.
Everywhere to go, so, okay. All right, if you want to, go through your roster a little bit, talk about your players, give me a little background.
Okay.
What you expect them to do for you, what their history is, that type of thing.
Okay. Well, grade-wise, start with my seniors. I've got one senior returning. Her name's Kiri Brown, number 3. She plays mainly in the post for us. She is a vital member of our team. She's a defender. She hustles. She rebounds. She does a little bit of everything. We rely on her for. She's our glue person. She ties it all together. She's a tough kid, very tough kid. I can't preach enough about that. She's a tough kid.
She's got a pretty good instinct for the ball.
Definitely.
It seems like she's.
Definitely.
When she sees a shot going up, she's already making a move.
Exactly. And sometimes it just finds her. Sometimes the ball just seems to find her. Yeah. Sometimes when it shouldn't, probably. It just finds her hands.
Okay.
The other senior I have this year is Treva Thompson. Now, Treva's played before. She didn't play last year, so she's kind of getting back into the flow of it. Treva handles a lot of the point guard, 2-guard responsibilities for our team. She's pretty sure-handed. She does a good job handling pressure. We need her scoring. We need her defending. She's fast. She's a heck of an athlete.
Yeah.
She does a good job in practice, keeping our practices very competitive.
And that's one thing that's got to be a benefit to you this year, having the numbers you've got.
Definitely.
The fact you can practice and go 5-on-5.
Huge asset. Yeah, huge asset. We can line up with having our 12. We can line up, go 5-on-5, and I can always put a couple more in and out, pull them in and out with my other 2. I got some JV kids that are close. They're close to being ready for some varsity minutes. So the practices get very competitive.
Your JV kids do work with your varsity.
Definitely. Yeah, we practice them together. We have some separate practices, and it works out. It's worked out very well so far.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Junior-wise, coming back, we have Carrie Staples. Carrie, she starts. She comes off the bench. She's probably one of our better shooters. She handles the ball pretty well. She's got a natural instinct to score. You know, she's probably one of our better free throw shooters. She sees the floor very well, and she's worked a lot to get her shot even better. So I brag on her for that, being in the gym on her own, getting shots up.
Okay.
Other juniors we have, Mackenzie Moorhead is a junior, and Mackenzie she's a tough player. She's very gritty. She plays guard. She plays post. She kind of does whatever we need, wherever we need to put her at. And she's a pretty good defender.
She's earned that name Rufus.
She's earned the name Rufus. Yeah, she definitely has. She's been giving us really good minutes off the bench and starting.
Good.
Other juniors, we have another junior that played before, but she's back. She didn't play last year. She's back. Sarah Lawson. Sarah and Rufus are kind of, along the lines of the same type of player. They both will they'll play guard or post, whatever it takes. Whoever needs a break, they can do both.
Yeah.
Very versatile. Sarah rebounds pretty well. She's hit some shots for us. She's taken some charges. She's pretty tough. She's the only player I've had so far that has taken charges in a game, which is you can't.
It's the most unselfish play there is in basketball.
You can't brag on her enough for her ability just to give up her body to get the ball back for us. Going to sophomores, DJ Horton. She's been a little bit of everything for her. She scores, she handles the ball, she defends, she rebounds. If you look at her stats every night, she's got a stat in every column, every night.
Yeah.
She deflects she deflects a lot of basketballs, got quick hands. She'll lead us in rebounding, she'll lead us in scoring, she'll lead us in assist. I mean, she does a little bit of everything, and she might guard the other team's best player. You just never know. She is a all-around good player, been working hard on her game, and I expect big things from her. She's just a sophomore, so in the next couple of years, I expect even more. Other sophomores I have, Kaya Blair. She's a sophomore. She's never played basketball before. I don't think she's ever played competitively at all. She's played volleyball, played other sports, and so she's a natural athlete. We're having to teach her the game, teach her the finer points, work on some of the fundamentals with her of dribbling, shooting, situational stuff. But she makes practices very competitive. She sets some of the best screens and rebounds as hard as any kid I've ever coached. She just does that naturally.
Good.
Other sophomore is Kavandria Carr. She plays in the post for us. She logs a pretty good bit of minutes. Pretty good rebounder, pretty good defender. She does a good job. Does a good job in practice too, as far as being able to guard just about anybody on the floor in practice. We want to see some of that translate to games now, but with her youth and her inexperience, she played last year, but I don't believe she got a bunch of minutes being a freshman. She's getting way more minutes now, and we hope that she keeps progressing like she's done since the start of school.
Sure.
I think that's all my sophomores.
Okay.
Now going to freshmen, we have Mackenzie Mitchell, who again is pretty new to basketball.
Yeah.
She's played a little bit before, but she's more of a volleyball player. She's a tall kid, about 6 foot tall, has tall parents, and she's pretty smart. She understands the game. She needs to get confidence and aggression.
Sure.
Once she becomes more confident in her ability and gets more aggression, then I could see her being a force around the rim.
Well, that kind of what you're describing there will actually come as she gets game experience,
Definitely.
Practice experience, and there's a huge difference though in working at practice and then being in a live game.
Exactly, the speed
with the officials, everything else,
all the people in the stands.
In the stands. There's a lot of factors that don't enter into it necessarily.
Definitely, and she comes off the bench. She's got several varsity minutes already. We had some foul trouble one of the first games, and we had another option. Whether she was ready or not, she had to play, and she performed. She did her job.
I know when watching her play volleyball, she was strong at the net.
Very strong.
She can get some air underneath the bottom of those shoes when she's going up.
Very strong.
Okay.
Other freshmen, we have a freshman, Anisha Nelson. She went to middle school here, but she's back now as a freshman. I think she took a year or two and moved to Huntsville, but she's back. Anisha's very athletic, very fast. She's played a good bit. We're still working on some of the finer points, but I mean, freshmen, you've got a learning curve. You've got to figure some stuff out. I think she's really close to being ready to give us some varsity minutes. She has really good practices. We're hoping that keeps translating a little bit further. Other freshmen, we have Briley Tucker, kind of in that same boat. She's played before, but coming in as a freshman, you're not sure about your role. You're not sure, it's way faster. The game's way more physical than it was in middle school. Practices are the same way. So we're really pushing her to get aggressive, use the skills that you have, and show that. You got to jump in and be confident. Other freshman we have is Alana Bailey. Call her Smalls. She's a pretty short little guard. She's played a little bit before, and on my freshman team, they kind of in that same boat that they a lot of them have played. They've been coached before. They have some of the skills they need, some of the fundamentals. Yeah. Now we've got to get that to translate to being ready for the speed and the physicality of a varsity game. That rounds out, yes sir. That rounds out my varsity roster.
Okay. Well, you got obviously a lot of inexperience, like we talked about earlier, on the team itself. But I think I'll be really surprised that from where you started to where you finished during the season, that your Lady Tigers will probably show as much as improvement as about anybody in the district, just because of your point that you are starting at with the group you've got.
We hope so. We sure hope so. We've been competitive. We're 0-3, but we've been very competitive in all three.
Oh, sure.
Like you said earlier, a rebound here, get an extra shot or two up here, make a free throw here and there, and we could be 3-0. I mean, that's a legitimate. We could be 3-0.
Yeah, and I mean, you even played up. You had a real good game against Coffee County when you were playing up into a AAA team.
We had to adjust. They were faster and stronger than what we've been playing, and we had to adjust, and I feel like we did. I mean, we had a shot with a minute or so left in the game. We had a shot to cut it down to a one possession ball game.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the shot up, but I'm very proud of our effort and our competitive. We had chances there was chances where we were down 10 or 12 pretty late in that game where we could have folded up and said, all right, that's it, we lost, and we came out and we hit some big shots, got some big stops. I mean, we can never argue that our kids aren't competitive, because they fight. Our kids will fight you to the very last second.
Well, I know, particularly in building a program, there's each possession's literally a little independent battle, or
yes,
it has to be handled. The game's literally got to be broken down in that way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
From one possession to the next.
And that's how we're trying to practice now, how important each possession is, how important it is to get a shot up on each offensive possession, how important it is to finish every defensive possession with that rebound.
Sure. Well, in a 5, 6, 7 point ball game, which you found yourself in, what happens in the first quarter determines
exactly
the
right.
points on the board at the buzzer. So, as they realize that and get more confidence in the game, I think you girls will come a long ways.
I agree.
During the course of the season. Now, who's helping you working as your assistants this year? You've had some changes around
this year, we have Coach Murdoch, the boys coach. We're kind of helping each other, and he's been a tremendous asset because we have very similar basketball beliefs and philosophies. We like to do the work on that. We know each other's drills pretty well.
Yeah.
We do a good job of working together, and he's been a huge asset as to, if I'm coaching the offense, he's coaching the defense. If I'm working with the JV, he's working with the varsity. It's a really good cooperation. And then Jason Wiseman, Coach Wiseman, is helping out. He's newer to basketball. He's helped with football for a while, and he's a really good coach, and he's a really good motivator. We're working on, he's learning my system of basketball, trying to learn my terminology, but that's coming along, and I see really good things. He's really excited to be helping with basketball. He loves to be around it. He loves to coach it, and he loves to watch it.
He seems to, even any sport I've seen him involved with, he develops a pretty good relationship with the kids.
Great relationship. He has a great relationship. He does a good job of, when the head coach is mad at somebody, he does a good job of being an assistant, maybe going and saying, hey, sitting down and talking and helping, rebuild it. And so, yeah, it's part of that cohesion you need to have as a coaching staff and team where everybody's on the same page working for the same goal. But, we've all got different aspects that we kind of we control.
Sure. Well, that's the reason. Having the assistants and people like that's invaluable to the overall success of the program.
No doubt. I can't brag on the middle school coaches now. Coach Allie Mitchell and her husband have been working with the middle school, working with them hard, and I've seen a lot of progression from early on. They really started with just at the very beginning stages of basketball,
sure,
and have worked with those girls and worked hard to help develop them so that they can come make the jump next year, the 8th graders and 7th graders in 2 years to this level.
Now their numbers are up too as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They've actually got a JV.
Even a JV middle school.
JV middle school bunch. So they're.
Well, it's good. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
And I know it's tough from a coach's perspective. W's and L's. Everybody's looking for those W's as much as possible, but there's a lot of little battles and accomplishments that a team, particularly in the growing stages, makes during the course of a season, and even a building over a few seasons.
Definitely.
So. All right, you're getting ready to crank up in your district action. I know you're going to Forest tonight. Then next week you got Moore County. You go over there, and then next Friday you host Huntland here. And so you're jumping in District 9A action pretty heavy there. So, and then you've got a road trip over to Coffee County, which of course there it's a non-conference game, but you're playing up. Got Giles County, that's playing up for a non-conference game. So competition's pretty tough.
Yeah, you don't get better if you go beat cupcakes. I don't feel like you need to play people that challenge you, and so far we have. We played 3 games, and all 3 of the teams have been pretty good. we played some 1A teams from one of the other districts, and they both pretty good programs. Really, they're coached very well. Have kids that played very well, and that's what it takes to get better.
Yep. Well, folks, come up on Tiger Hill and support these Lady Tigers. Girls' games crank up at 6 o'clock with the boys' games to follow, and you'll see some pretty exciting basketball. So, till we sit down again, I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Hey, folks, we're here today talking a little Tiger basketball with Coach Chris Murdoch at Fayetteville High School. Appreciate you sitting down and talking with us a little bit about your team this year. Inexperienced?
A little, but we're gaining experience throughout this season so far. But yeah, to start the year off, one starter coming back, 4 new starters. So yeah, I guess you could say inexperienced.
Put that in inexperienced category, and you got 2 seniors on the team.
Yes, Nick Hopkins and Andrew Kelly.
Okay. Now, you started coaching here in the junior high days, and you've basically coached Tiger basketball's high school program since you got started up. How long went?
This is my 5th year now with I guess the high school is at its 5th year.
Yeah.
So 5th year coaching high school, and I coached 2 years before that at the JV or the middle school level. So.
Okay. Last year, through the regular season, you made a heck of a run. You took one of those catastrophic injury losses, 3 minutes left to go, I think, in the last game of the regular season. James lost an ACL. I know that had to impact you, and just change him being a senior and the leader he was. It had to change your whole kind of dynamics of your team from that point on the rest of the season, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, last year's injury, and even before that, Michael Parks went down with a concussion 2 games before, and James unfortunately tore his ACL that last regular season game of the year, and this is kind of like the air just deflated out of the bubble.
Yeah.
And went into the district tournament, limping in, and still made it a run. Still we lost our first game, won the second one, and had to go play Lead Academy, and lost by 5.
In a cold gymnasium.
In a gymnasium without heat in February. So yeah, it was definitely on the road.
Yeah, made that trip up there. Now you're still part of District 9A, and you're made up with Forest, Moore County, Huntland, Eagleville, Community, and Middle Tennessee Christian.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
People think I'm nuts sometimes for clarifying the districts, but TSSAA changes stuff a lot, and the district alignment actually varies depending on what sport you're at.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I just like to go ahead and throw that out there a little bit. You're a few games of out-of-district action in your season. How you feel about where you are at the point you're at right now and the way you guys have performed?
Well, right now we're at 4-2, and you look at our 2 losses versus some very good team, Marshall County and then Huntland, who we met in a tournament, a Thanksgiving Day tournament. And but right now, like you said, with the inexperience that we came into the season with, we're at 4-2. We got a winning record, and we're getting better every game.
Yeah.
That's the growth, and that's what I like, what I'm seeing so far this season.
I know talking some about your young guys. Yeah, they're inexperienced, but there's some of them's got the athletic ability and the skills. You've got something to work with to develop.
Oh yeah.
In other words, they're already fundamentally at a pretty solid point. You've got something to work and build on.
Yeah, we did. We had a group of freshmen come through last year. It was about 5 of them, and they, last year was just a development year for them basically. We did have about 8 JV games, so they were able to play some competition, but they came to practice every day. They got in when they could. They were like sponges. They soaked it all up, and you're looking, 4 of those 5 that were freshmen last year are now on varsity, and 2 of them are getting some starting minutes and coming off the bench. So, they grew up a lot. They had to grow up real fast.
Yeah. Well, you can have some ability, but until you get minutes on the floor itself in a live ball game type situation versus just practice. It is a different environment and a different experience for those young guys coming up, you know. So, all right, if you want to, go through your roster and just talk to a little bit about your players as you go through them.
Okay, we'll go from seniors to freshmen. First senior is number 14, Nicholas Hopkins. He's been around this program as long as I have, pretty much. This is his 5th year playing at the varsity level. We got to play as an 8th grader. Here recently, you probably saw in the papers that he was able to sign a basketball scholarship with Belmont University. Right now he's kind of like our catalyst in the sense of scoring, but he does a little bit of everything. He's a great team leader, and that's Nicholas Hopkins.
Now, he just hit the 2,000-point mark.
That is true.
As well, career-wise. And I know it helps starting as an 8th grader like he did as far as building those points, but he's been a tremendous asset for you since his early days.
Yeah, and 2,000 points, 4 or 5 years, that's an accomplishment in itself, and it's a true testament to how hard he works, able to score all those points on the court.
Yeah. All right.
Next, we have Andrew Kelly. He's number 40. Andrew's a second-year player with us. Last year was his first year coming in, and he did a lot better than what we thought he would do his first year, and got minutes right away, and come off the bench last year, and this year he's in that starting role, and he's out there on the court. He's kind of playing a guard position, but his shots look really good. He's able to make plays out there, and he's a big body too. He'll go down low and he'll get rebounds as well.
Strong guy.
Yeah, he's a strong guy.
Fills a lot of space up under the basket.
Yeah. Yeah, so Andrew, it's good having him out there too as well.
Okay.
And those are our 2 seniors. I only have 2. Next with our juniors is number 34, Michael Buchanan. He's a player that's been in our program as a freshman, and now he's a junior. Last year he came off the bench. Him and Kelly kind of came off the bench together and gave some good minutes last season, and now he's one of the starters this year. So everybody's buying in on their time and developing, and Michael's really improved his game a lot from where he was in the beginning to where he is now. He's able to knock down that jump shot with confidence. He can handle it when need be. In an undersized center at 5'9", he can still compete with the taller boys. He's a muscle-bound kid as well and can hold his own.
He's strong. Okay.
And the next junior is number 33, Brandon Folston. Brandon's been in the program since his freshman year, and he's grown every year. And this season he's seeing a lot more playing time. He's coming off the bench. He's contributing. And, just Brandon's kind of got to play that physical role as well, because we're guard heavy, and so he's going to have to come in and substitute for Kelly or Michael and fill those shoes down low.
Now he's a junior, but really he's getting his first big minutes on the floor this year.
Yeah, he's getting his first look. Last year he was on the varsity, but he didn't get much playing time with that group we had.
Yeah.
But this year he's coming off and he's contributing well.
Okay.
And next, our last juniors, a new to the program, number 10, Okoye Dyer. But I've had Okoye before. He came up through our middle school system, and he moved to Shelbyville during his 8th grade year, 9th and 10th, and moved back to Fayetteville this season. Okoye's a guard, and he's got a lot of potential, a lot of upside. He's learning our system, and he's learning the way we do things, but he is developed into a starting role. Now, he didn't start out in the beginning of the year. He worked his way up, and a couple games ago I started putting him in the starting lineup, and he's quick, he's got good footwork.
He's athletic.
And he's very athletic, and he contributes well to our program.
Okay.
And now the sophomore class, like I said, there's 5 of them. One of the players is Zorion Pullen, number 5, and Zorion was a freshman last year. Of course, none of these guys got any minutes last year. This is their first major minutes, and Zorion he has proved well for himself. Now, he's very undersized, but he plays bigger than what he is at about, I'd say 5'8", 5'9", maybe, small guy, but he holds his own. He's very tough. He's got a blue collar about himself, and he works really hard. He's getting a lot of minutes as a sophomore.
Got a lot of speed.
Yeah, he's got a lot of speed. He's quick, low to the ground, plays good defense too.
Okay.
Next is 21, KJ Buchanan. This is KJ's first year with the program. Yeah, he's about 6'2", so he's got a lot of development to do and a lot of work to put in. But as a sophomore, he gets this year of development, then he grows into something as a junior and as a senior. But he's a taller player, kind of more physical at around 6'2", so he'll look bright for the future.
Okay.
Number 23, Isaiah Watkins. He was with the program last year as a freshman. Didn't get many minutes in that varsity level, but this year he is a starter. He's one of the sophomores that has put in a lot of off-season work. He just gets better every game. He's going to make mistakes, but he's getting better every game, like these young guys are doing.
He's one guy I've seen in your preseason stuff that he'll make a play or make a shot or make a move or something. It's like, well, where did that come from? Almost.
Yeah.
But he's playing with quite a bit of instinct, I guess, versus it's not like he's having to think about what to do. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, he's got that athletic ability about himself. He can play on the rim. He's long. He's quick. That's kind of what our program thrives on.
Yeah. And
he has all the attributes for that.
Good. Okay.
Next is number 32, Tyrese. Tyrese is a sophomore. He's taller. He's probably about 6'2". One of the better athletes. He will get on the rim. He can go get rebounds anywhere. He's really good at rebounding, and he's got a knack for it. And that's something you really can't teach. You gotta have that heart for it, and he does. He's probably averaging coming off the bench probably 5 rebounds a game. He's not getting many minutes, but when he gets in, he contributes to the team.
He got an instinct for going to the ball.
Yeah, he's got an instinct. He just goes and gets it.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
Real good. The next sophomore is Tyler Talley. This is Tyler's second year with us. He's on the JV program. He's a football player who came in late after the football season. Tyler works really hard. He's a real good guy, and I know he's going to stay with it. And you never know, by the time he develops out of this JV program, next year's junior and senior year, Tyler could come in there and give us some minutes on the court.
Now you've got somewhat of a JV structure, a schedule structure this year. You got some JV games planned and set up and that type of thing. Of course, having the young guys even working against your upperclassmen during practice and things like that, it'll make them better.
Yeah.
But it's good to have them get as many minutes as they can in that game environment, even if it is a JV game. But you got a guy with a striped shirt blowing a whistle.
Yeah. It makes it more realistic. They had their first JV game Monday night versus Coffee County, and they won.
Good.
And so that's, they're a 3A JV program versus ours, and we was able to knock them off. So that was a good first start for the JV program as well.
Good. Okay.
All right, we'll wrap it up with our freshmen, and we got a slew of freshmen this year. A couple of them are on varsity. First one's number 20, Charvez Williams. They call him Floyd. Charvez he loves basketball. He wants to be around it. One thing he's really developing his strengths is his ability, his basketball awareness. He can shoot the ball really well. He's a good dribbler. He understands, and he runs hard. Now, he's still a freshman. Can he get in some minutes in a varsity game? Quite possibly, but he's still learning every day, and he'll be there.
Okay.
Next is number 30, Desaiah Barletson. Desaiah was with our middle school program, and I had him my first year there. Very young, very raw then, but he moved away, and then they moved back to Fayetteville this year. And Desaiah has got some potential in the sense of he's got something we've never had before, and that's somebody who's over 6'5" as a freshman. So Desaiah will be able to develop his skills. He's still got a lot of work to do, but he works hard. He loves basketball. He's got some things you can't coach, and that's athleticism, and he's about 6'6" as a freshman. So he'll have to grow into basketball, learn our system, learn our defense, really, learn his body. And he's not a post player. He's not going to be a kid you're just going to stick under the rim and say, you're a post. He can move. He can play that guard position. He could guard the guard position. He's not slow at all. So he'll get some varsity minutes, and he got in some there at the Ardmore tournament.
He did. He's one of those air up there kind of players. When he gets rolling, he gets around that rim somewhere.
Yeah,
he's going to get up there.
He's got a knack to score the ball too.
Yeah.
He wants to score it, and but he'll develop. Give him 3 or 4 years with our program, and you never know.
Good, good.
And then wrapping up the freshmen, number 30, Donovan Kahn. He's new this year, came to us from Highland Rim. His family moved in, and he's injured right now. Had a foot injury, had to have surgery. So haven't really got to see Donovan much except for the preseason. And but you know, he's got some upside. He's a left-handed kid, about 6'1" right now. So
Okay.
Number 20, Isaiah Jones. You know, JV program. He's a guard. He's a good shooter. He works hard. And, you know, Isaiah will be able to grow into a guard position. Good three-ball shooter at a young age so far.
Okay.
Next is 14, Jamarian Buchanan. Quick little guard. You know, kind of shorter but very fast. He could be one of those guys that locks in on defense and stops the best player. Very interested to see where he goes with his development.
Okay.
Number 40 next is Shamichael Buchanan. And Shamichael is kind of a thicker player, kind of a post presence, you know, hard worker type guy. And he's going to get rebounds and play hard defense. That's Shamichael.
Okay.
Next is 21, Xavion Hicks. He's a freshman. And Xavion right now is probably about 6'1", very long, very athletic. And he's developing, he's growing, and he'll be, you know, moving up in the ranks as the years come on.
Okay.
Number 32, Baylor Howe. You know, Baylor is a good kid all around. He gets out here, he can shoot the ball. You know, I haven't seen much of him in the sense, but he'll develop in practice. And when we get these JV games going, I feel that Baylor will contribute in a way.
Okay.
And next is number 12, Nathaniel Johnson. What I noticed from Nathaniel the other day in the game, Nathaniel's a good shooter. He hit about 3 threes in that JV game. Got a mid-range, so Nathaniel's looks to be a good scorer. We got to get his defense going. But in the sense, this freshman class could be one of the deepest, if not, that we've ever had. There's 9 freshmen in our program right now.
And you would not be surprised if all 4 of them or all 9 of them stay through.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. If they do
their
it
entire time.
then by the time they're juniors and seniors, you never know where we'll be.
That's true.
So.
That's true. Well, I know in the past, Fayetteville High School Tigers have been known for a pretty exciting breed of basketball. Basically, you're going to run the floor as hard as you can.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with our lack of size, that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
You know, we're not a slow you down, you know, posted up type team. We're going to get you out on the wings. We're going to get you running the court. We're going to press. We're going to try to make our brand of basketball, which is a full court game, we're going to beat you at our game.
Yeah.
And we'll lock in defensively in the half court.
Well, I know it's exciting to watch. Just the transitions now in basketball are so fast, running the floor and moving. It's like you just turn it up to 11 right on the opening tip-off,
Oh, yeah.
and that's the
We're
way it's
live
going
right
to go.
when we start.
Yeah, yeah. And you shooting the ball. Of course, I know it helps having Nick throwing up his numbers. I think he had 51 against Marshall County.
Yeah, he's had
51
night, a 40 night, a couple 30s,
Yep.
and a 26.
And a 26. It's amazing when 26 is your low game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I love
usually high games for most players.
But you know, one thing in that game, that was against Coffee County, that I noticed, he played, I guess, more of a role of a point guard that night. It just seemed to, and it may be because some of the pressure he carries on his shoulder about scoring, but he finished with 26, which is remarkable. But he generated so many points for other players.
Assist, I mean, like Michael had 13, Kelly had 11 that night.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and that, I mean, he's in that quarterback type role. And that night against Coffee County, and of course you're playing up there to a AAA team, and you beat them. He really took. I felt like that leadership. You know, it wasn't like, okay, I've got to score X number of points. We're going to play more as a team,
Right.
and work that ball. And that when I left that game, that was one thing that I felt, you know, was definitely a plus. And of course, as your young guys get used to Nick, working that ball. If you're not careful, he's going to bust your nose.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you know.
You got to be looking.
People see these numbers he's putting up, oh, he's selfish. And he's not. I mean, he's got to do that with some of the games that we're in. But if you're open, he's going to find you. If you run the floor, he's going to find you.
Yeah, but you better be looking for the ball.
But you better be ready because it's coming.
He's going to hum it in there. Okay, you open up your district action tomorrow night on the road at Forest.
Correct.
How's your district stacking up? Who do you feel like? I know Huntland is definitely going to be one of the stronger schools in the district itself. But how do you feel everything else is lining up and playing out after getting just a few games into the season?
Well, like I said, Huntland, of course, right now, you know, after beating us already, I mean, they're a strong team. They're a veteran team, been around. They got everybody back from last year's sub-state team. So, obviously, they'll be in the mix. Eagleville right now is looking good. They're putting up a lot of points. And then down the line, you know, Middle Tennessee Christian, they're always solid. You know, they're always going to have a good team. Moore County, I guess you could say, is in a rebuilding year, along with Forest. Forest has a new basketball coach this year. That's who we play tomorrow night. But you can't take any team lightly in this district by no means.
Even any given night,
right.
That's for sure. Now, who's working as your assistants this year?
Coach Keys, Eddie Keys, which he's the girls' head coach, and then Frank Stevens. So same assistants as last season.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, folks. They play some exciting basketball here on Tiger Hill or on the road or wherever they happen to go. So when you get a chance to come out, watch a little basketball, staying in a nice warm gym, I highly recommend it. And I appreciate you talking with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.